Welcome back, Warriors. Another episode of Vigor Warriors 2, and I'm going to drive home a little bit. I got to teach a couple classes online and home, so I'm going to go ahead and go home. But I wanted to go ahead and talk about an issue that I've had with questions that people have had about women in general. So I'm going to direct this one to men and the Warriors, talking about the relationship with warriors and women. That's going to be a topic of this one. Before we get into this one, go ahead and subscribe, like, and comment. I try to take all your comments and find topics to talk about, and I must have about a list of 100 different topics that I want to cover as we go along, and hopefully this channel will last for a long time, and we'll be able to kind of share information and have it in there so people can kind of look at it and benefit from it. So again, the purpose of our channel, Vigor Warriors 2, is to make sure that you're vigorous in all areas. That means you're well adapted, successful, and striving, no matter what age you're at, no matter what no matter where you're at, you're able to be successful. And I not only have men but women also on the channel, and also having all age groups. And so I'm going to kind of talk about all age groups here on this one. This is called Women and Warriors. Now, I probably should do one on warriors and men as well, but I'm going to do this one on warriors and women because I had kind of a question about how to deal with women on your journey. Okay? So the idea, guys, is that you want to look at this in a certain way. Now, at 60 years old, I'm going to look at this a little bit differently from my perspective because I've had a wife for 30 years, so I haven't had any kind of girlfriends or anything like that. Before that, I had lots of relationships, but I didn't marry until I was 30 years old. And so, the thing about it is that you have to kind of look at the situation and realize that you have all this energy and how valuable this energy is. The power you have. It's hard to replace it. Obviously, if I knew this at 20 and I was able to control it at 20, I would have done a much better job conserving my energy. I still have abundance of energy, but I could have had so much more if I would have started like a lot of you younger viewers, and you start at 20 years old, 25 years old, 30 years old. Anywhere you start, you're going to conserve energy. Now, the question then becomes, what is the relationship between the warriors, the brahmacharya warriors, or the celibate warriors, or retention warriors? What's the relationship between warriors and women? Some people have what they call the girlfriend of the month club, or girlfriend of the week club, or boyfriend of the week club, in some cases with females. The question then becomes, what is the purpose of all this? Now, if your purpose is to get attention or validation, well, then that makes sense. But on your journey now, remember, on your journey, you don't need that any longer. And I guess that's the thing that I've learned through my experience. I don't need that any longer. I don't need to be validated by anybody because I know the purpose I'm on. I'm on a direct purpose in my mind to get to my God. And my God is coming through my retention and all the other types of things that I'm doing. And I realize that now. And in some cases, I think Malcolm X talked about the fact that it took 12 years to get to it. Muhammad Gandhi, many, many years to actually reach the spiritual level that you want. And so I'm on that trip right now. So when it comes to men and women, especially in this case women, warriors, you have to be very selective. So having this, if you're married, like I am, it doesn't really serve a lot of purpose to have girlfriends on the side. Though I will tell you, lots of people that I know do that. And obviously, if men and women are having affairs, they're doing it with somebody, right? And in this society, we become so free and easy that it's very difficult to really kind of stay to some standards. But let's look at it from our practical standpoint. If you're having an affair and you're older, and you're in a committed relationship, and marriage is a committed relationship, you're basically, it's not only from a moral standpoint, we can talk about that in a different type of video, but we're talking about the issue of just wasting your energy. You're dealing with issues you should not have to be dealing with. And if you're having an affair, you're dealing with the drama of that issue. You're dealing with the energy suction that comes out of that, perhaps, unless you're in very high control. And then you're also dealing with the emotion of the marriage you're in. So it doesn't make a lot of sense. Now, I'm saying this from a logical standpoint, and you see this more when you become more, when you're more in control, because you're seeing this more from a logical standpoint. You're not looking at the demon of lust, which we'll talk about in another video. The demon of lust destroys everything, but you're not looking at the demon of lust anymore. You're overcoming that through your attention, your ability now to look at things logically and not from a lustful stage. And you don't have that high need to be liked. You don't have that high need for attention to get into situations where it's going to cost you a marriage or relationship. Okay? Now, if you're single and you're looking also to have relationships, once again, I know a lot of men want to do this and they feel like it's more manly to have several girlfriends. But I'm here to tell you that I think that is wrong, to be able to say, I got girlfriend of the week club or girlfriend of the month club. I think you need to stop that, especially when you're on your journey. When you're on your journey, guys, you have a different lifestyle now. You're basically saying, I don't need to do all that. And the main thing that's going to happen is you're going to attract a lot of people to you because you're very unique. But that means you need to be more selective. You need to find and figure out what type of woman that I have that's going to help me with my goals. If your goals is having a family and marriage and those type of things, well, that's what you're going to look for. If you want somebody that's going to help you run a business and be successful, then that's the person you look for. So guys, the whole purpose of looking for a female, or if you're a female looking for a male, is that once you're on this journey, now you're in a different situation. You're now looking at trying to figure out and find people that are going to help you to accomplish your goal. You're going to discard and get rid of all the clutter in your life, right? When I get married, I got rid of all, I had 7 girlfriends, I got rid of all of them, right? Now, I was in the wrong impression as well. I had the idea that I needed to have 7 girlfriends. This is back many, many years ago, but that was wrong, because the idea is that it's not how many people you accumulate. This is what happens when you release and you're looking at pictures and you're looking at those type of things. It becomes a numbers game, right? You're looking at people as objects, and you objectify people when they're people. And really what you're doing is you're wasting all your energy. And now I know that now, being on this long journey, and it was very hard for me to come to grips with that when I was 20 years old. And so a lot of times, if you don't have the 6, 7 girlfriends, you're looking at it being highly anxiety and all those kind of things. And in fact, it's all a wrong game we're playing. And the game should be that you should be keeping your energy and keeping your seed, and then waiting for that person who is going to be someone who's going to help you achieve the goals you want to achieve. Obviously, if you want to have a family, then find someone who wants to have kids and who wants to have that type of relationship. And now, obviously, in my case, I came up from the old school, so I came from the idea of that you do not have intercourse until you're married. And I did that with my wife mainly because we wanted to become friends. And the idea here, guys, is that you're friends with somebody. If you're in a relationship, you're going to be friends long after you have all the intercourse and things like that, right? And the bottom line is that it's important to become friends because those are the people that are going to help you achieve your goals. And as a warrior, you're not going to waste your time fooling around with just getting simple pleasures. A true warrior does not do that because you're going to lose your edge. You're going to lose your strength. And so when a battle time comes, you're not going to do that. And it's the same old principle you look at sports too. You look at the people who are very successful, males or females, they always have a strong person they're married to. If they're married, there's a strong person they're married to that helps them with their career, right? There's always a man or a woman in the background who's helping out, and they're being with that person and being supportive. No one succeeds by themselves. And so in a situation where you want a happy relationship, happy marriage, you're going to go ahead and find somebody that is going to kind of help you with those goals. But it's much easier to look at that if you're not filled with lust and you're not filled with trying to, sleep with every woman that you find. And guys, I know how that is, right? Back in the old days, that's something that males kind of talked about, and it was a positive type of thing if you did that. But the question then becomes is, what purpose does it serve? What are you trying to accomplish, right? And the same thing now that happens when you look at different types of movements, and we're not going to talk about it necessarily because I'm not totally sure what happens on these videos if it happens. But I'm basically talking about when movements are talking about hating, one person or another, right? When you hate somebody, what does that accomplish, right? What does that really accomplish when you don't like somebody? When you talk about hating somebody, what does that really mean? And so the bottom line really is you're not going to draw people to you if you're always thinking about negative things. If you're thinking about negative things, you're not going to get that. You're not going to get that kind of goal setting you want to do. So when it comes to warriors, in this case, warriors and women, you want to be very selective. You want to make sure that you know what you're looking for in a woman. You want to make sure that you're looking for those certain qualities. Now, one of the things, guys, that's very important for men especially is that men tend to focus on the outside first. That's something that you see look as attractive, and you see that and you say, okay, I'm interested in this person. Well, that's a danger, especially if you're in a demon of lust. The demon of lust will grab onto you right away, and now you're running down a path and you have no idea who this person is, what their intentions are. You have no idea if they're a vampire in disguise or a succubus in disguise or someone who's around you. It's that old story that's talking about Samson and Delilah, right? She was able to convince him through, intercourse and things like that to give up all his power. And if you look at the famous, a famous way to do this, that's a perfect story we talked about before. So you have to be careful that as a warrior, you're not allowing people, in this case women, in your life that's not going to help you achieve your goals. Now, if you later on, you've been deceived and you find out the person is not the way who they believe in, well, obviously it's an important type of thing to go with. If you're married, and the way our laws is set up today, that if you're married, it's not tough to to kind of manage that, especially if you have kids. Do the best you can. I don't personally believe in divorce, but it's just because of my moral values that I have, religious values that I've had over the years. So I will fight as best I can to continue to stay married through good or bad, and health and sickness, anything like that. But the idea, guys, is you have to look at this and say, okay, what is this person bringing to the table that's helping you, right? And I think if you find somebody like that, and you have to kind of take your time and do that and get to know the person so you see the person before you jump into anything with that person. So this is a key thing, warriors, that you have to look at. Be very selective, right? You're going to find a lot of attractive people who are going to come after you. We talked about it in the previous visit. If you go your own way, then people will come your way. The question then becomes, are these people going to be part of the goals that you're trying to achieve, or are you really focusing on just simple pleasures, and are you falling for that demon of lust? That's going to be the key. And what I'm saying to my warrior friends out there, and this is male or female, when you're looking for people, make sure those people are going to help you further your goals and what you're trying to achieve. Because if you find yourself not doing that, you're spinning your wheels, wasting a lot of time, and in the long run, it's not helping anything, and it's going to create a lot of misery for you, and especially in the sense of energy suckers and people wasting your time and energy, and you're going to become less the person you can be. Now, people retain, the people who are on their journey, on a purpose, don't have time for that kind of stuff. You know that. So I first recommend you, before you do any of the other stuff, get on the journey. Because once you're on your journey, then you're able to see this more clearly than was before. All right, so until next time, Vigor Warriors, battle on.